The Asian flu. Known as the influenza A pandemic, it was an outbreak of the influenza first identified in February of 1957. It was the top 3 of the major flu viruses in the 20th century. Research has indicated that the Asian flu was a resortant, meaning it was a mixed species. Small antigenic shifts caused small periodic outbreak and eventually led to the Asian flu, a Category 2 flu pandemic. It's known to be originated from a mutation in wild ducks combining with a pre-existing human strain. Reports in the UK show the Asian flu causing wobbly legs and a chill followed by prostration, sore throats, runny nose, and coughs, together with achy limbs mainly on adults, headaches on children, and high fevers following. Young children suffered nosebleeds. The pandemic was first reported in China in February of 1957. In the first months, the virus started to spread throughout Singapore and other regions. It reached the US midsummer, but cases were less, until eventually more cases of the flu were found, especially in children, pregnant women, and the elderly. Though the flu was first reported in China, it spread throughout all of Asia, including India, Singapore, Taiwan, Indonesia, Japan, the Philippines, and more, and was later located in the Americas, Africa, and Europe. As cases were rising, hospitals and clinics became overcrowded, and then doctors and nurses eventually became ill. Ian Watson, a director of the College of General Practitioners Epidemic Observation Unit, was intrigued as he and others couldn't develop antibodies despite over a month in exposure. Eventually, vaccinations were made and millions of doses were sent to numerous different countries. Along with the vaccinations, various companies made medicines like this nasal spray to fight off the virus. By June of 1957, it reached the US and first affected US Navy personnel. Then it spread and affected mainly children who recently returned to school after their summer break. In the second wave, in January through February of 1958, it was more prominent among elderly people and so was more fatal. Was this a normal flu outbreak? No. The year-long pandemic caused the deaths of an estimated 1 to 2 million people, making it one of the deadliest pandemics in history. Some experienced minor and normal symptoms like a cough, and others faced life-threatening diseases like pneumonia and bronchitis. The lack of uniformity in treatment caused some general practitioners to prescribe non-effective antibiotics to patients. Later on, it was reported that the Asian flu had hit U.S. air bases in Britain, hospitalizing 500 airmen. There were various effects in different areas of the world. Italy was hit hard, as many public figures sadly died. In Washington, dozens of children at a juvenile facility tested positive for the flu. The president of Brazil was feverish with the flu, and the president of the U.S. was refusing to get vaccinated. Ocean liners were full of sick passengers and approaching shore. India suffered millions of cases by June, and the pandemic then reached the United Kingdom. In Southeast Asia, by the end of May, the outbreak had spread across mainland Southeast Asia and involved Indonesia, the Philippines, and Japan. In Britain, millions of pounds were spent for the sickness benefit of millions of people. 4 out of every 10,000 cases led to death. Over 100 countries had the outbreak of the Asian flu, and an estimated duration of the flu was 18 months. The US, Canada, Africa, and Europe had over 100,000 cases, and areas with over 1 million cases was China, Singapore, and surrounding regions. In conclusion, the Asian flu affected around 25% of the world's population at the time and caused an estimated 1 to 2 million deaths in less than 2 years, specifically around 18 months. This was one of the deadliest and affecting flu outbreaks in history.